What's good, everybody? Brian J. Lambert, your favorite indie comic writer's favorite writer, coming to you from the war zone that we've been in this last couple weeks,
Yeah.
along with Jason Reeves, the comics consigliere, coming from the lab, always on point, always 133 Art Publishing and Printing for another episode of The Chop Up, where we get into all things entertainment, business, indie comics, and anything else that inspires us to rant, rave, talk, laugh, joke, and do all the things that we normally do. So thank you guys for joining us again. Jason, thank you for hosting this, man, and getting us popping, bro.
Nah, no worries. What's up, y'all? Uh, Warzone is a overstatement. I feel like
Uh, you know,
I feel like I feel like this ain't no war. I feel like this is really like sort of like the antibodies coming through the body to take care of like infection, man. Like it's a natural process. It's a natural pushback of
oh, man.
just bug shit, man. Like I feel like I'm glad we here. Like I don't pursue the negativity, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like on the other side of that coin, there's positivity to expelling negative people and negative aspects of the community. So I don't feel war like, like beef is when you need two gas to go to sleep, this like
I feel like sometimes you got to scrape the wound, right, in order to clear the infection. And while it may hurt, it's ultimately better for the overall program. I guess my feelings of tumult have been a little bit stronger than some, right? Because I do feel deeply about what we do in indie comics in general and how we position ourselves, as a culture. That the phrase "we're not a monolith" it only gets used like pejoratively, right? When someone has an opinion that it differs from like Black societal culture. And that's not to say that having a difference of opinion isn't good. Those are amazing, right? We need to have varying opinions, but it's always one that's divergent and usually harmful, right? It's a stereotypical kind of thing, or something else that takes away from like Black society within the context of excellence. And again, I agree with you. I feel like this is light work. It's not like a war. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like this is not long and drawn out. Um,
right.
Man, this is the aftermath. You know what I mean? Like, this is you picked on Big Bro and Big Bro had to just kick you in the chest. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, look, every once in a while, every generation of Black comics, there comes a couple fuck boys, and there comes a couple bad influences that are there for just personal gain, right? Just there for that. Um, the kids call them grifters, right?
Mm,
And every generation, we get more. I don't even want to say sophisticated. That's not the right word, but we get more uh intense grifters that come in, and these
yeah,
days too, it's like they slide in, right?
yeah.
And we're in the Trump era. We're in the crime syndicate universe, right? Like
Right,
so,
right.
pump algorithms, pump negativity, and all that. So it seems a bigger thing than it actually is. Because you still working, I'm still working, all the homies, like the real homies, still working to bring this Black Comics thing to higher levels, right? So it's not like anything stopping, got to do some house cleaning. I think Black Comics has a grifter problem. And it's just a
Agreed.
resurgence of a problem that continues to happen. And I don't think it's going to stop. As long as people need money to survive, there'll be grifters, right? As long as
Right.
poverty is a thing, I think there'll be grifters. It's
My
our
bad.
job to get rid of them.
Yeah. I think that also, I mean, we're talking about Black indie comics and we're talking about Black comics, but
Mhm.
it's frankly a Black societal issue, right? Because the grift is the same grift that you've seen in churches. It's the same grift that you've seen in the music industry and
Yep.
any other historically Black centered business economy or business section. You see the same thing. The grift is run the same exact way.
100%.
360 deals. Oh, I'm gonna get you a Cadillac, and then you ain't got no money on the back end. Like all these little things. Hey, give me some money now. I'll give you some later. Hey, give me this 10% in tithes so that we can build a new building that never gets built, and then you're gonna get into heaven. It's all these, it's the same structure, but it has become more savvy, and social media proliferation has just made it easier because your pool of people is bigger. And if you have no compunction about lying to one person, 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, then it just becomes easier because your pool is bigger. So you're
Yep.
going to trap more fish in that net. So it's unfortunate that that's the case, right? Um, but that's a thing that we have to deal with. And when you call it out or when you say something about it, um, people try to attack you. It is what it is, right? They're trying to protect what they have built, right? However falsely that building may be, they still want to protect it.
Of course there's going to be pushback. And I
Yeah.
think that kind of brings us to a little infographic that I created called "How to Spot a Grifter in Black Comics," and we'll talk through some of the bullet points real quick, and just kind of hopefully enlighten and learn a little bit from ourselves, and the journey
Right.
along the way.
Right.
So, how to spot a grifter in Black Comics. What are we thinking about this? Like, what are your thoughts so far?
Well,
They
one,
they
one,
steal.
right. One, look, a grifter in your regular life is a grifter in Black Comics, right? Like apply this across the board, you guys. Like there is this sentiment that like the Black Comics community, everybody loves each other, et cetera, et cetera. They're still human beings, right? Like no matter
Right.
how you slice it, right? And so I hate to sound like Smith, but human beings are a virus. You know what I mean? Like there's always going to be some bad
I,
actors in
I'm
this,
gonna push
you
back
know?
on that. I'm gonna say for the most part we do get along with each other,
Yeah, no.
and
So
we we
I'm
yeah.
not saying that they don't. What I am saying though is that your grifter uses that against everybody. It's very easy to say, "Oh, we're a community, right?" So that I can pull the wool over your eyes, right?
Right, right,
So I have a rule of thumb. When you go into a new place, you go into a new job, whatever it is, right? There's always somebody that you meet that's like the first day, they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you such and such because you could trust me." That's the last person you can trust. The Black
right,
comics
right.
community is the same way. The people that are screaming community a lot are not the people that are about the community because if you're actually about the community, you don't have to scream it. You're already doing it. Right. And so that's what I mean by that. What I mean is that people who are always like, oh man, I thought this was a community. That's the same person who just said some foul stuff or did some foul stuff, but wants the support of that, the tacit support of that as a blanket for what they're doing, as a shield for what they're doing.
I was about to say it's like that monolithic shield you were talking about a few
Right,
minutes ago. All right,
right.
so I'm gonna move to the first slide, the first infographic here. Unverifiable financial claims.
Oof, oof.
Like that's the first way to spot a grifter in Black Comics and in life. I mean,
Hmm.
these cats don't be having no money. You know what I'm saying? Like I said on that comment online a couple days ago, fraudhood comics ain't got no money. Ain't got no
Right.
money.
Look, this is the thing, man. Never believe what you hear. Believe what you can prove, right?
Hmm.
It's always the proof is in the pudding. You've had
I would
fraudhood.
say,
You've had other people say that they made tons of money. I've been a very big critic of Ripaverse. I've always said the money didn't make sense. Now, I've never said that he didn't make money. It's obvious he made money, right? But let's compare him to Corey Kenshin. Ripaverse is like, I made $4 million. I sold a bajillion, trillion books, right? Unverified. It's all through his website, et cetera, right? He's got a ticker that ticks up money that says this is how much he made. Corey Kenshin drops his. His is verified by the Wall Street Journal within a month.
dang.
Also off of his website, right? Also
Mhm.
homegrown, but they were able to verify those numbers and be like, hey, this is a bestseller, New York Times bestseller. Boom. There's a
Mhm.
huge difference there. So when you're looking at numbers and metrics and who made what,
What?
there's always a way to verify it, right? The biggest seller on Kickstarter ever, Brandon Sanderson, the biggest dude ever, 45, $46 million. One, for books that he hadn't even finished yet, books that weren't even ready yet. $46 million. Again, you can track it though. You can see it. It's there. So people who are actually making that money have no problem showing you where that money is coming from.
Right. Right.
Even the richest of the rich.
In this evil crime syndicate era, don't even believe your eyes a lot of times because
Uh,
people can take pictures of anything, right? People have bots. They can inflate streams and inflate numbers online. We got AI. Right before that, we had Photoshop. So a savvy grifter, can fabricate anything, right? I can take a picture with a
right.
whole bunch of money in my hand.
What did was it Lil Yachty or one of those? No, Kodak Black. I ain't got no money. He had just done that thing where he spread out all them hundreds on his arm.
Yeah,
He's like, that's all
yeah,
fake money. That's all video money,
yeah,
right? Like that's
yeah.
the thing. You have to you don't have to know a lot about business in order to understand these things, but you should be able to try the business by the business, to
Right.
borrow a Christian quote, right? Like if Marvel is not making $100,000 in digital comic sales,
Mhm.
what makes you think this indie comic publisher is? It doesn't make sense. If you are selling a digital issue at $5 per, right?
Mhm.
How many people does that mean have to buy that issue in order for it to get $100,000 in sales?
You the numbers dude, let me know.
You know what I mean? Like
Right,
y'all, right? It doesn't. But again, it doesn't take much to figure that out. 20,000
right.
people went and bought this thing. 20,000
If you're selling 20,000 comic books, you don't need to do Kickstarter.
exactly,
If you're
exactly.
selling 20,000 comic books, you're not online fighting with us. You are fulfilling orders. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right. 20,000.
You're not trying to verify that you're rich.
Right,
You're being
right,
rich.
right.
Right?
And you're talking about 20,000 digital, right? If you sold 20,000 digital, how many physical does that mean you sold? Because digital is still the lower end of the market share in terms of books,
Right.
any kind of book, right? Digital book sales are
Well,
doing well, but it's still outshined by the traditional book market at the moment. So again, and I think it's like by maybe like a 3-1, 4-1, margin or something like that. It's a pretty large margin. So if you're selling 20,000, digital books in order to get to your 100,000 in sales on digital books, then times four physical books.
that's
Come on now,
crazy. That's
come
crazy,
on, come
man.
on now.
Look, the infographic says they boast about extraordinary sales figures that defy
Right.
logic and time, especially, and this is true facts, when they, by their own admission, say they haven't sold a physical comic in 5 years.
Right.
Like,
Right.
how can you make that much money in comics if you're not selling physical comics?
Right.
Like, it
Right.
just, it defies time and logic.
But also, one of the pitfalls that people get trapped in is that they just said it really loud, right?
Yeah.
I did this thing, and no one said hey, that don't make sense, right?
Right. Right.
Because I feel like some logical people were, I know I was. I remember when the claim came out, and I was initially like, that doesn't make sense. And again, very quick number crunching. It's not even algebra, bro. It's regular, like just division, right?
Right.
And I was like, that doesn't make sense. And so I didn't think I needed to say that. But there are so many people that were like, well, he said that he made him. They don't even say that he said it's he made $100,000. How do you know? How do you have that information?
One of the things I really enjoy doing, especially when it comes to the younger creators that I meet, is trying to demystify the industry and say
Yeah.
these big, lofty things that you love it, so you put it on a pedestal. A lot of these lofty goals and aspirations, they're things that normal, regular people do all the time in comics, within and without. So don't put everything on a pedestal, even if you
Yeah.
love it,
Right.
because what that does for you is give you like a low opinion of where you're at. And
Hmm.
if you're a creator, if you're in there writing and drawing and coming up with ideas and telling stories, you're most of the way there. For example, San Diego Comic Con. When I first heard about that, I was like, what the hell is that? And It was in San Diego. I was in New Orleans, 3,000 miles between me and that. And it's like, what? How can I get to that? That's supposedly the comic book mecca where all the stars go and all the whole business, the whole industry is there. And I would see pictures of it later in Wizard and be like, this is something I'll never attain. I'll never get there, you know? And
Mhm.
building that up in my brain is what made it hard to think that I could be in there. At this point, I've done panels, I've been up and through there. I met my mentor there, met, great friends there, and did portfolio reviews and all kinds of stuff. Had several amazing experiences there. And younger artists, just go.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
unattainable. Save you up a little scratch, borrow a little scratch. That's your little vacation. Stay a couple days, make it affordable. Experience the thing and know that this is something that can be for you.
The thing about this stuff is that we set up an idol mentality, right? And when you put a person up there, especially a person who the degrees of separation to you are like two. Again, we're not talking about Jeff Bezos or, you know what I mean, Marvel or DC themselves. But then you get a regular normal dude and they're like, oh, well, he can't be touched because he said some stuff. The problem is that he put himself at that level, which is smart because that's marketing. But then people allowed that to become their reality for that
Right.
person as well. And that's the problem, right? Because then they become infallible. Then you can't say anything about them. Then you won't even go back and look at what's being said and what's being done critically, and you lose that part, right?
You lose that
It
discernment.
brings us right into the second way to spot a grifter:
Right.
trails of unfulfilled Kickstarters. When you put that person on that pedestal, you forget about the past of that person. You forget about the reality of that person. And
The
Kickstarter is a
reality.
very, very good metric of that. Sometimes fulfillment takes a long time, sometimes it's very short, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a difference between taking time and fulfillment and not fulfilling. So their crowdfunding pages are graveyards filled with angry comments from backers who, after years and hundreds of dollars, are furious over unreceived rewards, showing you a pattern of taking money without delivering.
That's the
Right.
important part. Without delivering, right?
Right.
Like you ain't made 30 G's. Those 30 G's are supposed to be to fund the printing of the physical comics and all the trinkets you're offering. It's supposed to ship those rewards, right? You
Right.
didn't make that money. That's not your money. That's other people's money.
That brings up a very interesting point that, again, that I've always said from the beginning about fraudhood,
Hmm.
specifically fraudhood. When he had his launch that did pretty well, right? He said exactly what you said. We profited 30 G's. Then he got a loan from somebody else. And then he flipped that loan to be like, we made in profit 60 G's, right? So now we're at, quote unquote, we have 100 G's in profit. One, part of it's supposed to be investment capital, right? Investment in the company. The
Right.
other one is investment in, like you said, the production of getting the comic books done, et cetera, et cetera. Profit is what you have left after all the expenses are taken care of. The difference
Right.
being he never paid the expenses. He just said, I made 100 G's in profit, which you didn't, bro. That's like spending the gross amount from your check that you get at your job and being like, this is what I made, and not looking at the net right after they take out insurance and taxes and SSI and whatever else. You know what I'm saying?
My
I know how
God.
hundreds I'm down.
For all the people that are swimming in the alternate reality that some of these grifters be creating, just literally go to their like Kickstarter pages. Usually, a lot of times, grifters have at least two or three Kickstarters. Go to the comment section and just read the comments. If
Right,
most of the comments are where my book's at, you
right,
might have a grift on your hands. I was
right.
scrolling down doing a little quick research for the show, and I found one that was crazy. It says, still waiting on my t shirt and hoodie. I backed this project as a gift to myself during cancer treatment. I'm cancer free almost 2 years later and still don't have my hoodie or shirt. Bruh, bruh,
Jesus.
bruh.
Look,
You not
cancer
fulfilling.
patients can't get their books.
Listen, Bruh, that's crazy, right? Like, I don't even want to make light of this person's situation. It's just messed up that, like, I couldn't read this on my Kickstarter and be like, I gotta
Yeah,
give this person their stuff.
right, right.
I'm fucking up
Look,
bad.
even if you didn't send everybody else's at this point, which I'm not saying is fair or you should have done, what
Right,
you do is send this person theirs and you write a message and response back on that comment about how
right.
sorry you are, how you apologize, whatever the case was, right? You got to make
Yeah,
that right, you
right.
know?
There's comments after comments. Where my stuff? I donated this much. Where my stuff? This is public, by the way. So the grifter gonna say, ah man, they lying on me. Well, Kickstarter don't take down comments.
Right, right, right.
You
And
know what
this
I'm
is
saying?
5 years ago.
Mhm.
Also, look at a Kickstarter. Making 30 G's on a Kickstarter is good money, but that 30 G's is spread over three issues. What that actually means is you made 10K per issue.
Right.
Also means that you still have to take out those production costs, which are at least going to run you 5K, right? So that means you made 5K a book. Again, I'm not saying that that's bad at all, but I am saying don't conflate one and the other. There's a big difference when you have one issue that makes 30 G's and three issues that make 30 G's.
Right.
Those are huge gap, right?
Right.
In terms of profit potential, and where you actually stand with things.
And that's just taking into account like production and shit like straight up fulfillment. And again, Kickstarters don't just offer the main thing like the comic. They offer several things like hoodies and t-shirts, right?
Hmm.
And hoodies and t-shirts cost more to produce. It costs more to ship rather than a single
Yeah,
comic, right?
yeah,
You have to kind of put that stuff in a bigger box, right? You're getting into exponential shipping costs and fulfillment costs. So take all that into account when you assess these cats, man. Like Kickstarter is a job. Like, I'm like 9 in right now, and it's a job. Fulfillment might take months,
right.
right, over the course of time, depending on when your materials come in too. So to kind of floss and shine like you doing something when that, Kickstarter money hit after 2 weeks is folly, especially when you haven't done your due diligence to say it's going to cost me X for fulfillment and X to finish production, right? If your production
Hmm.
isn't already finished. All of that stuff needs to be taken into account. And grifters, obviously, they're not here to
Right,
do that. They're here to
right,
to steal.
right. They're going to tell you they made it and then run another campaign for the same thing.
Performative blackness when it comes to black comics for broader appeal. They exploit black identity as marketing, using black figures on covers like Malcolm X, while promoting all lives matter style content, right? Like the antithesis of black people speaking up for themselves. Their blackness is just a costume for commercial gain. There's a legal term for it that starts with a C and ends with a oon. Like
Before we
I
get
write it
into
with
the obvious
I write
one,
it with a K. I type it with a
before
K,
we,
but go on.
I usually type mine with three Ks if we talk about this dude. But
Real talk.
let's before we get into the obvious one,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go into the archives for one that I know and I remember.
Oh
For two
wow.
things that I know and I remember.
Mhm.
GPD, Galactic Patrol Delta.
Oh no.
Galactic Patrol Delta was a space opera concept when it first hit.
Mhm.
Then Black Girl Magic hit the social consciousness, right?
Yeah.
Black women in comics started to blow up. They started to get bigger, bigger. Mega Woman wasn't doing nothing. And now Galactic Patrol Delta is about your rugged black female cop who's a single mother who, excuse me, sir? Excuse me? I ain't forget. Look, I got a long memory, bro.
You got a
I got a long
already.
memory.
I forgot all about
Yeah,
that.
go into the archives. It's there. You can find it. Y'all can find it. Look, it's there. If he didn't scrub his social,
The most performative thing is the Malcolm X cover. That's very
100%, 100%.
and it did its job really
Hmm.
well. we got people in comment threads talking about, man, if Malcolm X on the cover, I'm buying it. And look,
Yeah.
I love brother Malcolm. You know what I'm saying? Like I love a lot of the things he said. I have read the autobiography of Malcolm X. It's one of my favorite books. Full stop. But to use him and then create works that are more about your go along to get along ideology rather than pushing back on white supremacy or pushing back on oppression is whack. And it's a crazy flex to have Malcolm X on the cover of your first book and then be heartbroken that Charlie Kirk died.
Right. Right.
That's
Right.
nasty fucking work,
Right.
right? Right. It's
Look.
and people keep sending stuff illustrating even more than I already knew about this
Hmm.
cat. Like when Amanda Seals did her
One
Truth
versus
Leader,
20.
yeah,
You're right.
dude is on there in real time. Like they ate her up. Like
They
that's not what
didn't
happened,
though.
sir. Not right.
That's
Not no,
they
that's not what
didn't.
happened. Like
That's
I
not
mean,
true.
even in political debates, right? Like he was like talking shit about
Didn't it? Southern
yeah,
accent Kamala's not in the building or some crazy shit, right?
yeah,
Right?
just weirdo conservative mega talking points, and he comes online when he's trying to scrub it or whatever. Then he's like,
Right.
I do all this for black people, like I love
Yeah.
black. Just it's so oppressors vibes and oppressors
Right.
language whenever he
Right.
get upset or challenged. So
Right.
bro, like you're not beating the allegations of performative blackness. There's a lot of
Yeah.
times we don't see eye to eye and we try to cut with our words or whatever. But here's the thing: being in the same industry, being in the same community with each other, and wanting the best, the most positive outcome for this thing, you definitely want to make sure that you're not using the oppressor's language in
Right.
battle. Like we don't want to
Right.
fight each other like that because the oppressor is our enemy. So why are you
Right.
fighting us like that? If you
Because the obvious answer is you agree with the oppressor. You feel that same way. And you just, again, you using blackness as a cloak.
right,
You know what I mean? Not
right,
as your life.
it's dishonorable, which brings us to
Right. Grifters are always a dishonorable kind of broke, right?
ooh,
They broke,
ooh,
but not from investing their own money, right? But from squandering supporters' funds on projects they couldn't fulfill. Their broke status comes from a grift, taking money for creations they lack the skill, knowledge, or integrity to produce, leaving trails of unfulfilled projects and debts. You might even hear rumors of these grifters secretly begging other creators for funds. Ooh, ooh, it cuts deep, but it's real.
it's true,
It's
true
oh.
story, true story, true story, true
Right,
stories, real
right,
real black comic stories, real Hollywood stories. Like it's
right,
crazy. Look, man,
right.
Ernie Blur Without Fear is not the only one that has heard stories of this cat begging other creators for money. The same creators that he then goes on his social media and slick side
And
disparages,
dogs. Right.
right? It's crazy. I'm gonna say personally, I done had a couple messages where it's like, "Hey, brother, what you doing with this? Or how you want to collaborate on this?" Personally, like
Look, man, again,
it's all
I could get
it's
into my
all
DMs
good.
as well,
Right.
right?
It's all
Where
good until he's confronted with his bullshit,
right,
right?
right.
Crazy.
I got some that when he was, big banking and high rolling, according to him, right? He said he was gonna start this initiative and bring in new writers and whatever. He was gonna expand the brand. So I asked, and again, I can show receipts for it. I even asked politely, hey, you said you're going to do this thing. I'm not talking about myself, but Greg writes and Robert writes and, all these people that are already in the thing. And so if you got this seed money and you're about the community, why are you not paying them? Why are you going outside the community to go get other people? Basically, oh, because them niggas charge too much. I want to bring up my own people. Okay, so you ain't got no money, right?
Right.
I done got multiple DMs over the last week that even his collaborators ain't getting paid. He
Yeah.
calls me bad logo Lambert, right? But he don't own his. At least I own mine. Mine might be bad, right? But at least I own mine. He don't even pay the dude who made his logos.
Listen,
He's still waiting on his money.
here's
You know
the
what I'm
thing.
saying? Like, so
That 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 kind of broke because you broke. That kind of broke is dishonorable, and to use it, to kind of play on the self esteem of the again young creators. Y'all might be broke, but y'all ain't dishonorable broke like this, right? You funding your campaigns and getting your money off that, or making your books and selling them on your site. You might be broke because you've created something, right? You didn't steal anything. You made something for somebody. That's
right,
honorable, right?
right,
That's the dream. That's what you want to do. And to have some grifter try to make it seem like they know more than you or they're better than you or whatever, it's an illusion, is what I'm saying, right? It's the
right,
illusion of having money. This
right.
person is broke for real.
How do you say I can teach you how to scale a business when, by your own admission, you failed at scaling your business? That's why you
Crazy.
are where you are, right? You're selling this thing that you don't have. That's probably the most literal example of it. And I need y'all to really key in on that. It's a literal example of selling something he doesn't have. I'm going to tell you how to do a thing that I cannot do by my
Can't
own
even do.
admission.
Right.
So look, I need y'all to wake up. I need y'all to see that part. That non-discernment leads us right into number five, which is putting down other creators. And boy, do I have some shit to say about this. But
Oof.
uh whether these keyboard millionaires are a podcast or in a thread, they actively talk down to fellow creators, particularly about money, using their supposed success to elevate themselves above others in the community. Even that branding is designed to be toxic toward the community around them.
That's it.
We were
What we
talking
saying?
when we opened this, I thought about something. I'm gonna call it the big bad wolf theory right now.
Okay.
So Fraudhood has been in the game for 10 years and been massively failing for five. Go look at the Kickstarter, go look at Tyler Forrest Martin and look at his first 5 years of Kickstarters. All but one are failures. And now go to the Godhood Comics page, which is the relaunch after 5 years. Go look at those Kickstarters. They made money, but they are unfulfilled, and that's the grift, right? But he has used that platform to big bad wolf other creators that have a different idea of success. So smaller creators, sometimes humble creators, people who are not really rah rah and willing to go back and forth, he'll get in their inbox and say, "Shut up, old nigga, I'm better than you. I make $5,000 a day," which one doesn't make any sense, but two is also a lie. Um, and those creators, as opposed to going back and forth with him, will stop engaging. So what just happened? He just blew down the house of straw, right?
Mm.
So then the next person, he gets to the next person who gives him a little bit of pushback. He does the same thing, just maybe in a different format. My artist is better than you. I got a deal, and I got to do that. I got a development deal, and I was going to be rich. Then that person doesn't fight back again, right? So now he blew down the house of straw. What happened this week is the nigga came up against the house of brick.
Mm.
You can't blow that down, bro. You can't
Mm-mm.
stop that. Sometimes people see what you've been doing, right? And they've been quietly building their own thing independent from you. I didn't build a house of brick. You didn't build a house of brick. J Number didn't build a house of brick. Blur Without Fear didn't build a house of brick because of Tyler. We built these houses because we wanted to do something for the community. We love these comics. We love what we do. We built what we built so it could be strong and standing on its own. Now,
Right.
Fraud Hood, you've come up against this house of brick. It ain't going nowhere, right? So when you do I make $5,000 a day. No one makes $5,000 a day on comic books. Stop it. Stop it. Do you know how much money that is? $5,000 per day with 365 days a year.
$1.8 million.
So you're making $2 million a year off of digital sales because you self-proclaim,
Because you ain't
self-profess
sold a
having
comic in
sold a
5 years.
comic in 5 years. So again, it doesn't make sense. But when you get people that are not, they didn't come into this business to go to war, right? They didn't come in this business to go back and forth with people. They didn't get into these things to do that. And then you challenge them hard and loud, and it's the Trump thing again, bro. I'm rich. I made a casino. I did it. And then people kind of back off because they're not used to that, right? Or when you come back at them, you're just jealous of me because I'm great. And most people
Right.
either get tired of it. Again, I went through this myself over the weekend, bro. I got extremely tired
Mm.
of like fighting ignorance because in my mind, I'm like, I shouldn't have to fight ignorance. I could see this,
Right.
but everybody
Right.
can't. Right. And it's
Right.
on us. It's on the house of brick to fight that ignorance. Right. It's on us to be the 300 and carry these shields and look at Ephialtes and be like, you know what I'm saying? I hope you live forever because you ain't got no fucking honor. You a hunchback. You a bitch. You can't
I,
sit with us.
I'm definitely one that only engages in the smoke when it comes my way. Then I got to deal with it. I often hope, and maybe this is a character flaw. I don't know, but I often hope that whatever ignorance or negativity they're doing over there, it just stays over there. But again, we in a crime syndicate era, so it builds. And one of the issues of this era is that it can't just build over there. It has to build and like envelop us, right? Like you
Yeah.
can't be the greatest black comic company of all time if we all over here making money because now you're disputable.
It's
So you
also
gotta
there's also the part of trying to gatekeep the tiers of who's who, right? If you're great at what you do, you can just be great at what you do. You don't have
gotta
to say I'm the greatest or hey, this is my
well
list of
you ain't
everybody else who's great
exactly
and
you ain't gotta
I'm
say
gonna tell everybody who's good. Oh,
but
just
that's
do what you do.
again that's trying to control the narrative of the whole thing, right?
Right.
Like you said, gatekeep the whole thing. So you can't gatekeep it though if you got dudes that's doing Kickstarter successful and coming up and doing stuff,
Right.
for some reason that bothers you a lot, right? And
Right.
also, like there are the people that won't get into the heavy arguments, but people like
Yeah.
us, we don't mind confrontation. So
Yeah.
we will get into the heavy arguments and then we will tell you the truth. You're not gonna
Yeah.
like that. That cuts
Yeah.
into your narrative, right?
Yeah.
And when your narrative get cut, in your mind, in his mind, he's thinking my money about to get cut, even though you ain't got the
Yeah.
money.
Right.
So it's a problem. It's problematic.
Yeah.
So he tries to put down. A couple people know we had it out online.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I told him straight up, I'm beating you by every metric. There's nothing you can say or do. And the same
Yeah.
thing with you. And not necessarily just about money, but just about how you move within the community, right? Just
Right.
about how you make your books and fulfill your commitments. Those
Right.
things, those positive things make you better. You collaborate with other creators without a whole lot of static, right? You try to bring the community up. It's important to you to do that. Any people that do that, they're the good guys in this situation. And that is threatening to people like that.
Right.
They have to
Right.
do something. They can't hold it.
Right.
You know, Batman clocked them. They're cowardly and superstitious lot. They always got a monologue. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? They
Right.
always
Right.
got to
Right.
tell you what they did.
Right,
So,
right.
you
Which
know,
is which again, perfect time, right? Because and this one is one of my favorite, right? The misrepresentation of industry connects. They exaggerate their relationship with established publishers, creators, or media outlets to create an illusion of legitimacy and success. When questioned about their business practices, sales figures, or proximity, they become hostile and accuse critics of being haters rather than providing transparent ancestors. I think this is huge, 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 because the Deadline article put fraudhood on the map, right?
yep,
And I'm not saying that that's the one thing that I'd say that was genius, right? Getting a Deadline article is big because a lot of us don't travel in Deadline articles, right? What takes away from that, or what that does though, is gives people this false sense of success, right? Overwhelming success, which doesn't necessarily exist.
it's a
Again,
false
by his
connection
right,
to the Hollywood industry,
right.
which when you think about it, you thinking Netflix, you thinking
Hmm.
WB, Marvel, Disney,
Right,
like all
right,
of that. It's a brilliant marketing move to get something like that because it calls to
hmm,
mind all that stuff that makes money,
right,
right?
right,
Especially if that's paramount in your brain, no pun
right.
intended. uh
Right.
that that's the thing you're here to do,
Right.
right?
And look, I think that's a great move. And I think it's lofty if that's where you want to go. And if you get that, I think that you should celebrate that win. You get a development deal with the studio, that's actually big. A lot of people don't get that, or they sign bad ones, which brings me to the point. You signed a bad deal, bro. Admit it. Again, by your own words, you sank 60 G's of money, not profit, money. You sank them into this development deal. Why do I know that that's a bad development deal? Because in development deals, you're not supposed to be putting your own money up. A development deal is a company paying you for your IP, paying you for your idea, paying you for whatever thing it is. Imagine if you had a music artist that gets signed to a major label. That's the same thing. That's a development deal. They're going to develop their album and their music and blah blah blah. Imagine that artist having to pay out of their pocket for that deal. We call that a 360 deal, right? We call that
The TLC effect.
right, right. And we dog people for it. Oh, you signed a 360 deal. They gave you some flash cash and they taking all your money. Difference here is bro, you didn't even get flash cash. You got a flash article. You got a flash article in deadline and nothing to
The
show
flash
for it.
cash is in your mind. Here's the
Right,
thing: you
right.
you are TLC because you hooked up with Pebbles, some 60K at Pebbles, and kept Pebbles was gone. Shoo!
Right. You a dream girl, bro.
You
He got
also
you a Cadillac,
TLC.
Cadillac car,
You
and
also TLC. You also TLC because
look,
you
Chili,
be
because you
doing that
MAGA.
conservative shit. You know what I'm saying? You be undercover at night,
Right, right,
being a
right.
conservative.
Right. I didn't mean to donate to his campaign 19
Oh
times,
man.
Chili. It's lofty to get into deadline. It's lofty to want to, right? I think we all want, on some level, or most of us want on some level, our stuff to be developed into cartoons or movies or see it bigger, right? Because before it was hard to imagine a comic book being a legit movie. But with everything that's happened in the last couple of years, it's a reality, man. These things are dope. Invincible is a dope cartoon that's on there. You got anime, you got on and on, so many things. So it's like a lofty goal to want to be there. I've had no less than like 7 IP licensing meetings and discussions and I mean like over periods of time. Now I say that to say because most of them are whack. Honestly, right? Most of them is some up and coming startup company or somebody who's got a couple $1,000s who's like, oh, I give you $10,000 for your IP. Okay, for how long? Yeah, for 10 years. $1,000 a year for my IP? Hell no. But that's what most of them are because they don't know the value of IP. They don't think that you don't know the value of IP. And then you end up getting screwed in these deals. That's what happens. That's the industry. That's not just comics. That's not just movies. That's entertainment. That's music. That's all of it. Right. Like
Right.
these contracts have been in place this way for the longest time. So you got took. It is what it is. I'm actually not dogging you for that part. What I'm dogging you for is you trying to dog everybody else while you got took.
Got
You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all ain't shit as you ain't shit, right?
that
Everybody else ain't
t-shirt.
shit while you losing
You
60K.
ain't hating on nobody for riding off their successes throughout their career, right? Like a
Yeah,
career, if you do it right, can span, a long time. So you can
right,
still say, I did this, I worked for this, I've done this. The problem with this kind of smoke and mirrors thing, though, is this illusion of legitimacy is it was just an article, and then you
right,
threw money down the hole. You believe the hype yourself and played
right,
yourself, right?
right,
Like when I went to pitch Amazon, I've been in the Amazon offices. I'm super proud of it. Like that was a milestone for me.
right, right.
We
It's
pitched
dope.
King Carver's. It didn't get picked up, but we got to sit in front of the executives and see how that process works. I learned a lot
Right,
that day. Shout
right,
out to Handful for the connect. So that was amazing. But what I didn't do is go online and say, nah, I know everything about Amazon. Let me teach you how to get
right,
up in there. You know,
right,
and since I've been in there, y'all ain't on my level, right? Like
right.
it's not moving up in your career and hitting milestones and doing something can be legitimate. But
Hmm.
to act like now I'm an Amazon executive who be greenlighting
Right,
deals, that's
right.
wrong.
And
I
if that's
don't.
the case, I need to go back and be like, yeah, man, I had a development deal on the table with Legendary, because John Silk hit me up with like, bruh,
Right,
again, does
right,
that matter? But yeah, no, it was cool.
right.
We had some conversations. I thought I was going somewhere. It wasn't. It ultimately didn't.
Listen,
But
I
again, that's an industry thing. There are so many things. Look, Lord of the Rings took how many years to? It's Lord of the Rings, and how many years did that
yeah,
take to get made? You know what I'm saying? Like, so when these development deals take a long time, this stuff
right.
don't happen overnight. So I do think that you should celebrate your victories, but that don't make you a king over nobody, right?
Doors open
And
and close.
especially if it does it right.
The beautiful thing about where we're at and where a lot of us are right now is we still in community and we still, you know, on equal tiers, right? Like
Right.
we haven't had that Robert Kirkman success just yet, right?
Right.
So we can share info with each other and teach each other how to move up these levels,
Right.
right?
Right.
Ask me, ask you, ask people who will not lord it over you, man, how you did
Hmm.
that? Like, what does
Right.
that entail? I'll tell you.
Right.
I
Right.
love, again, one of my favorite things is demystifying this industry. Like,
Right.
we all in entertainment, let's entertain some people, let's help each other out. I think that's a better move than
Right.
I'm the greatest black comic dude of all time and I got all this
Right.
money. And here's the thing about the low self esteem of people who see the pomp and circumstance and the flash and get excited about it. These people will use you, they will cultivate you as a henchman. That's number seven. This is how you
Right.
spot grifters. They have henchmen, right? They attract supporters who haven't found success themselves and are easily impressed by displays of money. That's a hallmark of a henchman,
Mhm.
defending their exaggerated claims without question. So the money makes these cats say, "Man, you being unfair to this guy." They prey on the creators, these henchmen's anxieties about recognition in a competitive industry by
Mhm.
positioning themselves as having figured it out where others haven't. They exploit their low self-esteem. And that's anxiety that all us creators have. Me,
Right.
Brian, everybody. If a creator tells you that they don't have anxiety or they don't have insecurities about moving in this thing, they're a grifter.
Look, what I also think is funny on a personal level, right? Again, I said this week has been kind of hectic, and maybe it's been like the last 2 weeks. So 2 weeks ago, so there was a hubbub, a hullabaloo between a creator and a Kickstarter supporter, right? It started really fiery. They're good now. Demario, who's a great indie comic advocate, and Danny J. Quick, Ace Blade, right? Little
Right.
hubbub because Demario hadn't got his issues. He was disappointed in the Kickstarter. He came out on fire, blah, blah, blah. I got in the comments there, and Demario's my boy, so I didn't dog him. You know what I mean? But I
Right.
was definitely like, hey, man, maybe
You
you
cool
should.
with both people.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was like, basically, like, man, you should. Some of the things you said are not right about this dude, about Danny's character, right? Your experience might be what it is, and I ain't gonna talk about that. But what you're saying about his character is wrong. He ain't a scammer. He's not lying. He ain't running with the money. He's still front and center, blah, blah, blah. I have people come out, oh man, you just defended him because he's your friend. Shut up. You shouldn't do blah, all of that stuff. Okay. Danny is my friend. So I am going to defend my friend. And I feel like friends, that's what friends are supposed to do. But friends are also supposed to hold you to account.
Right.
So as I'm writing this and as I'm defending Danny, I'm actually also hitting Danny in his inbox. Hey, what's going on? What did you do? What's the story behind this? We're talking, right? Fast forward a week and this stuff comes out about fraudhood. They say a bunch of crazy stuff to me. I post it up. People who don't legitimately know this man come to his defense.
Uh,
There is a difference. He won't ever love you. This is business. You're defending someone who doesn't think highly of you. You're defending someone who would not defend you. You're defending someone who's lied to you, who has stolen from people by his own. Again, I'm not making this up. I'm not just saying this. This is by his own admission. If you have a Kickstarter that's 5 years old and you say you haven't moved a unit in 5 years, you are stealing from the people who backed you 5 years ago because you
yeah.
also didn't fulfill that Kickstarter and the
Yep.
subsequent ones after that, right? And now you're selling it and talking about your website crash because Comics Explained put you on, and those people aren't supposed to get their issue until July themselves, bro. Again, These are things that you have admitted yourself. This is not me making that up. Them henchmen come out of nowhere with the bullshit.
Henchmen won't ask this question. If you selling a whole bunch of copies because Comics Explained bigged up to you, and you making all this money as a result of that, are those physical copies?
Look, before he scrubbed it, the way I read it was he selling physical pre-orders of a book that should already be done. Shout out to the
Henchmen.
henchman.
Y'all don't ask yourselves these questions. Like, man, I'm defending this dude, and this dude say he made 100K, and then another day, this dude is on Kickstarter. I assume some of y'all henchmen is backers. He on there saying he ain't moving unit. He haven't sold a physical comic in 5 years, and he's 60K in the hole as a result of the production deal supposedly on the Deadline article. So he ain't got no money, but he got 100K in sales. That doesn't make any sense, people. It don't make no sense. I also want to point out, dear henchmen, me and this man and several other dudes, Danny, all the homies of Black Comix, they've been selling comics that entire time.
Right,
Physical comics that entire
right,
time. I
right.
I did 3 Kickstarters, maybe 4 in that time span, and fulfilled them all. Not to
Yeah,
mention all the other stuff that we do, fulfillment, making toys. This man been making toys in that span, selling them. Like we done did shows in that time. We ain't seen this cat. We don't see this cat nowhere, right? He
bro.
not in
In the
public nowhere.
in the 5 years that this has all been going down, that's Wingless's entire lifespan so far. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm attached to 23 Kickstarters in that
Damn,
time span. So
damn.
again, I could talk about it. 5 issues of Justice, 5 issues of Nightfall, which is a crossover. Air Force Ones, The Sundering. I don't know how many issues of Ace Blade and production being done.
I done did 4 Scholastic books at that time.
Like what? So again, so it's one of those things of like, I get it, henchman. You want to be liked by somebody, and his sensibilities lean your way. It is what it is. But you nothing but the Foot Clan, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like you a
Bebop and
nameless
Rocksteady.
ninja that gets kicked off the roof.
Cannon.
That's you getting your ass whooped trying to beat up
Listen,
Ninja Turtles
you
and
know
learn
which
kung
Foot
fu.
Clan members I always feel sorry for whenever I go back and watch Turtles, especially like those first 5 episodes because they're the best ones. Whenever Michelangelo tap a dude with them nunchucks and it busts their whole arm off and they be walking
Right,
around like this, that's
right.
y'all.
So
Dear henchmen, especially henchmen who are actually creators, like y'all cats, let it go. Don't be henchmen for people, man. Don't be henchmen.
right,
You
right,
can attain whatever this cat claim he attained. You can do
right,
it on your own too. 10 toes
right,
down on your own shit. Do
right,
not be a henchman for people that don't mean you no good, for people that only use you for cannon fodder, and for people that don't give a shit about the black community. Stop that
right.
shit.
Phony blackness is not a cloak, bro. We don't have to support everybody black who ain't supporting everybody black.
We do not. If you ask me, in my opinion, once you start being a coon, you ain't black.
And now when we talk about, because I'm done talking about this Negro. Hey,
How you spot a grifter, take it how you want it.
I want to talk about support though, right? This is a
Yeah,
new initiative that Jason and I talked about doing with the podcast itself. Every
right.
episode, we want to highlight a creator that's got a current project that we want to support. Because again, it's important to get, we have our own thing, but when we're talking about community support, it's important to highlight the community.
I pitch it to you as being a counterbalance to foolishness like we were talking about earlier, right? Being a
Yeah.
counterbalance and putting our money where our mouth is. Anyway, the point is, I'm gonna share my screen and I'm gonna briefly read off this creator's Kickstarter. And we didn't consult with this creator or anything. Hopefully they're not shy, and no pun intended.
Right. Yes.
And and hopefully putting them on blast just a skosh to spend some money with them is cool. So I'll read a little bit about what Fumes is about. It is by creator, the homie Imshai Dash, award-winning writer, author of the quirky black sci-fi tale series Woman in Sujud and Fumes. tree hugging comic book enthusiast who loves building worlds that center climate fiction, morally gray heroines, and epic battles. And edited by one of my frequent collaborators, Greg Burnham.
Shout out Greg
Yeah,
Burnham.
Fumes is simple. It's based on a theme storytellers have held up to a looking glass for ages: greed and the fight for resources. And coupled with that, as it always is the fight for survival. People and governments have always fought over land. Once borders were drawn, blood was shed over fertile soil. Next was water. Battles were first waged between tribes, cities, and states, then governments, over who would have access and control of the waterways. In Fumes, Eula learns that the next fight is for the Earth's air. Eula is an agent with a knack for killing aliens, a rare genetic disorder, and a million questions about her past. After her teammate Ridgen discovers an X-Corp conspiracy, he gets kidnapped and she goes hunting for JD, the one man she knows has answers. Let's play the trailer. Let's see what that does. So there it is. Y'all need to go hit up Fumes 2. I'm about to hit it up right here. Y'all looking at my info.
That's only the last four.
Huh?
I said it's only the last four. You know, it's still protected.
I'm gonna bleep that shit out. Whatever. Y'all trying to get all up in my business.
I'm finna dox him.
So we just pledged to Fumes 2, trying to just do a counterbalance to all the negativity. Shout out Fumes, shout out to M Shy, and I'm gonna go ahead on.
Hold on. I also want to say, check out the bottom of this page. Tales of Asunda from Stranger Comics and Sebastian. Those guys over there, they're kicking ass with their campaign. I think over 100K now for that 5e book and everything they got there. Also, Thema Queen of War. That's from 615 Comics. Malcolm McFadden, up and coming. You know what I'm saying? So go give both of them love as well. All right, yeah. And as we get up out of here, as we end the chop up, never forget about who got next. We are still in pre-launch. We're still in our soft launch for that. We are just slowly talking about it here and there. Not our big push yet, just letting people know who got next is a trading card deck building game that mixes basketball and elemental power. So imagine if you had Pokemon meets and one mixtape. It's going to be a lot of fun. I just had to rebuild the mechanics last week because I broke the game myself, which is something we want. We got a lot of surprises and a lot of things coming with the game itself. I got my little bag of dice here. We've added a dice element to it, and the dice are going to have where are we at here? Basketballs in them, y'all. So check it out. Again, follow the campaign. We'll be launching in June. It's gonna be dope as fuck. We're having a ton of fun playing it and a ton of fun building it. The art is spectacular, as you can see here. Jason Reeves has done a bunch of the art. Also, Matteo Illuminati's done some of the art here. We just got an amazing team for it. Laguna Studios is going to be doing our fulfillment. We're partnering with a lot of people in order to get this and make this as big as it deserves and bring you guys the best in trading card gaming.
And as you can see, we got like 56 followers. We trying to run that up. So y'all go to Kickstarter, hit it up. We soft launching, but we want to make it look pretty. So we want to get some numbers up there. But what we'll do is let you check out our little video that Brian made about who got next. Let me throw that up on screen.
Got next. Put your heart to the task. Show you're better than the rest. Got next. Put your heart to the task. Show you're better than the rest. Put your heart to rest. The GOAT is the best of the best.
Oh, that was fire.
We also might Man, we might do an open verse challenge for who got next, man. I'm thinking about it, throwing it up there and seeing who got the bars. That's just something I came up with my boy Dalibor, the indie comics hype man. So I got to talk to Jason about it, but it might be a thing, man. Might be a thing.
Yeah. Cool, cool. I mean, you look, we got some hip hop dudes over here, man. Shout out to Mike
That's what I'm
from
saying.
Nerd Soul. Look, Mike,
That's what I'm
Mike will drop the
saying.
first one quickly.
That's what I'm saying, man. So I think I'm gonna put something together this week, man, and then just open up the challenge, see who got it. Hey, if it happens, we got to get Mike, we got to get Alonzo in there. It's a couple cats, man. That they better bring it. Danny, you know what I mean? It's a couple people, man. So you know we got to see what's popping. But as
So now,
always, y'all, uh, I'm Brian J. Lambert, your favorite indie comic writer's favorite writer, along with Jason Reeves, a comics consigliere, chopping this
hey,
shit up, telling people what's up, demystifying, as Jason likes to say, the industry and what we do within it. Trying to make this process walkable for all of us, right? Trying to take out the toxicity as much as we can, trying to add positive voices. Even when we're having to speak on the negative, there's a way to do all of it. So again, shout out M Shy, shout out Stranger Comics, shout out 615 and Malcolm McFadden. We want everybody who's doing the good work to succeed. And shout out who got next, because we want that to succeed too.
straight up. I'm Jason Reeves, aka 133 Art Publishing. You can find me at 133art.com. That's the website. But the new hub, is at 133 Art on Substack. We just got our first paid subscriber.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Shout
what's
out.
up.
And we're trying to build new subscribers every day. There's paid and free subscriptions, and we're gonna be doing web comics. We're gonna be doing more One Nation, and the Chop Up lives on our Substack as well. So just come holler at us. We doing comic things over here, positive comic things. That's what we trying to do. Blackly black, all black every day. Let's go.
Wingless Comics across all social media, because I almost forgot, because I feel like y'all know me. I feel like we just in the house talking. I'm talking to my friends. So
Right.
Wingless Comics across all social media, www.winglessent. You can find me there all day, every day.
Peace.